investigation.
Yeah, you're right. He's part of that FBI.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're under investigation.
Hey, Tom.
Right, you still get to keep your job. You still get to keep your job.
That is an inconvenience. Are you kidding me? That is just a verb.
She's coming on at the end of the show.
I did not know that, but it's on a little sheet of paper here, so now I know.
Network, your home for Tony.
And I got the Girardi sound.
I've thrown out 2 first pitches, and both times I threw heat. Rock star status.
Now you can take SportsMap Radio anywhere with the new SportsMap Radio Network app. Just search SportsMap Radio in your app store today.
Myers Leonard, his prices are insane.
You got that clip that I sent?
Yeah, I got the Girardi sound.
Awesome.
Pushing the odds with Matt Peralta.
Bryson DeChambeau. His swing speed has gone up to 134 miles per hour, where last year it was around 120 miles per hour. So we're talking about a massive increase in swing speed. So much so that pro golfers were going in there or imploring the PGA Tour to not, quote, Bryson-proof the next courses. I'm not trying to accuse Bryson DeChambeau of being a cheater. I don't know. What I do know, though, is that the PGA Tour's got a problem. The problem is their drug testing. If you look at the 13 years since the PGA Tour started to look at PED testing and implement their system, there's only been 3 players who have publicly failed tests for PEDs. The PGA Tour doesn't have anywhere near the list of banned substances like cycling or the NFL when they're constantly updating, they're constantly watching and monitoring their athletes.
Pushing the odds with Matt Peralta. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 Eastern.
The Jake Asman Show.
What's an easier costume, the Gardner Minshew or me always being Jake from State Farm every year? I would say Jake from State Farm. All you need is khaki pants, a red polo shirt, print out the State Farm logo, print out a name tag that says Jake, and you're ready to go. It is the go-to costume of mine because it's easy and people always laugh. And unlike other people that do it, my name is actually Jake.
The Jake Asman Show. Weekday mornings from 9 to 11 Eastern.
Into the night.
Our good friend Adam Schefter, zooming with us, Harry. Adam, now what about the first couple of games of the regular season? I mean, with no preseason games, they're not even allowed to scrimmage with other teams. How ugly will the first couple of games of the regular season become?
I think the brand of football that you're used to seeing will be a notch below what we've seen in other years. I think it usually opens the season that way, but what are you going to do? We all love the sport so much that it's, believe me, it's okay. But I think this year it could be the product even more diminished than it's been in previous opening years. But again, what I would say to that is that's the time we're living in. And as long as we have the games, they can play whatever diminished product they want. I don't really care. Listen, I just hope we have football for the season. You know, we'll be happy to see a diversion, a form of entertainment on Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays. And by the way, if there's no college football, who knows? Maybe Fridays and Saturdays too.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern.
Terrell.
Coast to coast!
Is Saturday pro football not better than sex? If the NFL played Saturdays and Sundays, I wouldn't even talk to my wife ever, even though she's smoking hot and I love her. I mean, if there's football on Saturday and Sunday, pro football to bet on, I mean, it's junk food city and betting on football all day. Give me Saturday football. Screw college football.
Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Farrell. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern.
Jake Asman here. One of the big changes we're all dealing with is wearing a mask, but not all offer the same comfort and protection. I recommend the Boomer Naturals 3-layer, comfortable, breathable mask in hands with nano silver technology. Nano silver can block those tiny drops and particles from getting to your nose and mouth. They also offer those popular nano silver neck gaiters, available in sizes for adults and children, in stock now and shipped to you fast. Order now at boomernaturals.com. Use promo code Jake and save 20%. That's code Jake at boomernaturals.com.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now, when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
This is a Gal Media property in partnership with Jacob Media.
Set your system's volume control for slightly above the normal listening level.
Let's go. Second level thinking is defined as looking beyond the easy, obvious conclusions.
You got to do some smart thinking.
Welcome to the second level on the Sports Map Radio Network, a show where we go beyond the box score.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Home loans that fit your life. Rocket can.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
It's gotten way out of hand right now. You thought that the chaos would be with college football and whether or not they could come to a conclusion. It's spilled over now to the people that either have talked about it forever or are brand new to the sport and are riding some other platform of success, in air quotes, of course, in life. And these conversations on as many sides of an aisle as you can find are all pretty much different means to the same end, which is a heaping dose of nonsense. I don't care what level of politician you're on. I don't care how long you've been covering college football. I don't care if you're a head coach right now. It doesn't matter if you're the president of the university in question or you're the president of the country. It doesn't matter. There is no definitive plan right now in place because there can't be a definitive plan in place to keep people safe, to keep young kids safe in a college professional to-be sporting event like football setting safe. It's just really difficult and virtually impossible knowing that there's going to be somebody that's going to get sick. Somebody's going to be infected. And then at that point, it's just crossing your fingers. So college football really hasn't budged since yesterday with anything more definitive. And the reports that are coming out left and right are crazy enough. And then you have to deal with people talking about this sport that seem to have no real grasp of how it works or how a university works, how athletes, especially college football players in said universities, work and conduct themselves on the day-to-day. It's just more of the same. People talking about things in a position of influence that have absolutely no experience with it, and it comes out in every single comment made. But here we are, trying to sift through the nonsense and get to some level, some concrete conclusion. We'll do that next.
At Fidelity, we understand priorities can change. So when you partner with a dedicated advisor from Fidelity Wealth Management, they will help you develop a personalized wealth strategy, one that can be flexible enough to evolve as your needs change. Plus, they can offer investing strategies designed to reduce the impact of taxes, all while making sure you understand what you're paying and why. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so when you call 8338-ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
You're going on a trip, but where are you going to stay? How much will it cost? Well, it'll cost less by booking on besthotelrates.com. BestHotelRates.com works with all the top hotels in the country while delivering you great hotel and room choices for the best prices. Why wait? Go to BestHotelRates.com, enter your email address, and start shopping for your next hotel room. BestHotelRates.com, it's in the name. BestHotelRates.com.
From muscle pain, body aches to strains, Blue Emu Maximum Arthritis. It works fast. and you won't stink. Its unique formula with emu oil penetrates deep to relieve arthritis pain, sore muscles, joints, and more. Blue Emu Maximum Arthritis. It works fast, and you won't stink. Find Blue Emu at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, and other chains, or visit blue-emu.com.
As you get back to business, small things can make a big difference, like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, 24/7 support, safety recovery guides, and more. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
So at some point, and it's probably going to be after Bill Bender, we'll have to talk about, he'll join us at 11:40 a.m. Eastern time on this crazy state of college football. We'll have to talk about a safe bet now moving forward. And I was on locally last night while it was happening, gave out 3 separate bets in this Phillies-Braves game simply because it is a foregone conclusion. I don't know if I've seen a worse bullpen than what the Phillies are dealing with right now this year. And it's not something specific to Philadelphia. It's something you as a sports bettor, I don't care where you are, legal or offshore at this point, can take full advantage of. I'm giving you the inside information here. And there's also a new conspiracy out. Not really sure where this came from. I imagine Reddit. But there is a new conspiracy out in the NBA regarding, and Yahoo Sports has determined this a legit conspiracy theory floating around that teams inside the NBA bubble are trying to sabotage LeBron James and the Lakers, hoping that the Blazers, who are now healthy, and with everybody on that floor, especially their front court, can provide a problem for the Lakers, who are dealing with, I don't even know at this point. Not really sure what's going on at this point with the Lakers. They needed a game-winning bucket from Kuz last night, and still, I don't know if anybody is really convinced that this Lakers team is coming into the postseason full steam ahead. But the story that remains number one, that was number one for us when we left, is what's going on right now with college football. And you're going to see and hear a lot because there are now crazy bedfellows being made by this stance of college football has to go on. Anybody who is not involved, I don't care. Again, I don't understand. Maybe you can help me out. We're live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Shander Show, at Shander Show, and 800-224-2004 is the phone number if you'd like to jump in. But I don't understand this concept of listening to somebody who is a public official, a politician, talk about, I don't care, again, what side they're on, what level they're on, but somebody speaking out about either the need to or not to play college football is Charlie Brown's teacher to me. It goes in one ear, out the other. I'm not there standing over, nor are you, injecting your own thoughts and theories about how they should run their office tighter and actually balance a budget and things along those lines that are pretty easy to see. Yet still, if you're being told, and there was this mantra forever that has been broken over the last year or so, to stick to sports, it's usually by somebody who is working outside of sports, who has no real solid internal connection with sports, but wants to weigh in and wants to be heard. We don't need to acknowledge people just because they are politicians, just because they're public servants in some regard, because they have a blue check next to their name and they happen to talk about the budget, not necessarily the budget of a football team, the salary cap. There's a difference, a distinct difference. And I don't know why or how people get through days listening to these people. They have no implications or indication of what's going to happen, nor implications of what will happen. There is nothing at all. Oh, there we go. Look at this. Live radio at its finest. I think there's a ghost in this house, man. Seriously. Green. That's the sound of the green screen, by the way. Now, Sean Mapes is in for Ron Culver today. And boy, was that a Ron Culver moment by all means. Did you even hear that?
Yes, I had the headphones on, so I was able to hear it loud and clear.
I wonder if you could pull that, all right, at some point, maybe in the next break or so, pull that sound, because I've had some crazy things happen on this show live. Knocked a mug over. I wasn't even close to the mug, yet knocked the mug over during an interview with Ryan Ballingy. The power just went out late last night during a show for no reason whatsoever. It wasn't even raining out. Nobody else lost their power, checked with the neighbor, so the Wi-Fi had to reset for the show. And now, as you heard, and Sean will pull that at some point, no rush, but the green screen just decides to roll back up there. Maybe that's a sign to stay away from shouting down any politician on any side regarding their take on whether or not college football should be back. And look, it doesn't stop there. It's hypocritical for everybody who has vested with the S turning into the $ interest in college football, to just sit back for a second. Players, first and foremost, after the medical advice and the medical data comes in. And if a university is adhering to that, to where they feel from a liability, and no, I know that there are some national former football players that now have ESPN or other platforms tweeting, well, just sign a liability waiver, and then all the colleges are free from any liability. That's not how it works. They're still on the hook for a lot, and just signing that waiver doesn't remove the right to then turn around and sue for other things. So that in its own right is foolish and counterproductive to try and push, because A, it's not going to happen, and B, even if it did, it would not protect these universities, these schools, these presidents, like these people out there tweeting that think they would. It's just not a reality. So what do we do now? How do we move forward? Well, anybody right now like Trevor Lawrence, Jim Harbaugh, a politician, anybody like that who has true economic stake in this season probably shouldn't be. Well, wait a second, Shander. Trevor Lawrence, he's not getting paid. No, he's the number 1 draft pick to me. And he could sit out this year and blame it on anything, from COVID to concerns to I just don't feel safe, whatever it is. Trevor Lawrence could sit out the entire season and still be the number 1 draft pick. NFL does not need college football at all. The NFL is just sitting there waiting with their hands rubbing together like, come on, give us Saturday. Let's go. You can't do it. We know you can't. You know you can't. The rest of the country knows you can't, except for some idiot politicians who think for self-serving reasons that sport should just reopen, or a head coach who's set to make $8 million, or a number 1 draft pick to be who's set to make more than that. Come on. We know you can't do it. Doesn't matter what Danny Cannell or Trevor Lawrence or anybody else thinks. You guys can't do it. Just hand over that Saturday. Then we'll talk about Friday night. College football actually had a stranglehold for a while on Friday Night Football with some good games, especially some good games to bet. I was doing a shift on the network at that time. And now, if you look at, ironically, that precedent that was set to have football on a Friday night and it work, the NFL is going to be all over this, man. All over this. And it's going to be hilarious to watch. College football, in the meantime, can't get anything straight. 20 minutes from now, we'll chat with Bill Bender, covers the world of college football for the Sporting News. Hopefully he has an idea of what's going on here. Now, I know Matt Murschel was on earlier with Tony D. And, Sean, I imagine that you're in for Ron all day today, right? So you were in for the 3 shows?
No, Ron was in for Tony.
It's always that, isn't it?
Yes. He has a birthday party.
Yeah.
His 4-year-old's turning 4, I guess.
But what does that tell you about how he feels about Jake and myself? It's an hour early. It's 10:20 in the morning. He'd be done by noon Houston time. And he goes out of his way to come in for the early show because his name's on it. It's Tony D and Ron Culver, and I understand. But doesn't that just tell you exactly where he stands when it comes to Jake? And it's not just me. You can't just blame me and my annoying habit of wearing him down every single day for 2 hours. There must be something going on with that. We should reach out to see if Asman's still in the building. Maybe he has a theory.
He's already left the building.
Wow. Actually, I'm very proud of Jake. Jake went from a guy sticking around for 2-3 hours after his show for just obvious reasons of wanting to talk to people to now maximizing his day. That is progress, folks. That's why we brought it up. That's why we publicly shamed in the first place, to get some progress out of here. The ACC has come out and said at least a couple of schools, after vigorous testing, no positive cases. We're waiting to see if the ACC makes its decision. We're waiting to see when the Big Ten or the Pac-12 officially make their decision. Scott Frost with Nebraska maintains that, hey, if the season's over, don't worry. It ain't over for Nebraska. Teams are going to find a way to play. Louisville and UNC, BC, a couple of other schools in that conference have all come out and maintained that their process so far has been safe and that it's the motivating factor to keep the facilities safe and to keep players in some sort of mental bubble. You come to the facility, do what you need to do, you go home, and that's it. Can't really be out and about. Of course, we have a story in Cleveland of not one but two pitchers, one actually dumber than the other, going out and about in Chicago on Saturday night, getting sent home as a result of it. So don't think for a moment that human beings, no matter if they're 20, 24, 31, in a professional or semi-quasi-professional setting, are just going to sit back and do the right thing. Yeah, probably more often than not, people will in this case. But it only takes, this is the perfect example of one idiot ruining it for the rest of us. It's the total textbook definition of one moron. That's all it takes. Which, again, goes back to the crux of this issue now. It's been removed, and we need to wait. We need to wait to see what happens with the Big Ten. We need to wait to see what happens with the Pac-12. But these conversations surrounding college football are nonsensical. It doesn't matter if somebody has president in front of their last name unless they are a university president coming out specifically and giving you information, data as to why they chose to cancel the season or why they feel like it's a safe protocol and process in place to maintain the season. Who cares what they say? Who cares what somebody is inflammatory or not as they may be as a politician, which is all about branding right now, says about college football? Doesn't matter. And again, I pushed it. It doesn't matter if it's Jim. I don't care what Jim Harbaugh has to say. Of course, Jim Harbaugh wants to play college football. Jim Harbaugh wants to make a lot of money this year at the expense of his players and the players that he goes up and beats up on at times or loses to in late game scenarios. Of course, James Franklin wants to play college football this year. All of these guys making a ton of money should step to the back. So should anybody who's guaranteed a slot in the first round of the NFL draft. The two groups of people who should be making this decision, first and foremost, the medical community that is constantly being asked, constantly being relied upon for some sort of advice with these universities and conferences as a whole. Not a $15 to $16 million deal over the next couple of years head coach, not the kid who's expected to go number one in the NFL draft, and sure as hell not any politician, no matter what party they subscribe to. I don't care if you're anybody along the political spectrum. It does not matter to me, which is more of a circle than a straight line anyway, but that's a different show and a different network and a different genre. Speaking of which, threw this out there on Twitter. The Tuesday thought of the day, music, but it has to do with something regarding a genre that you don't normally listen to if you really ever do. bunch of answers, and I'll read the tweet coming up. And it's usually what we'll do on a Tuesday is throw something else just randomly in the top of my brain based off of probably a lot of what you're doing on Twitter and social media. Also, as mentioned, Bill Bender is going to join us from the Sporting News at 11:40 Eastern. Wait till you hear the audio from Phillies manager Joe Girardi, as he is now overseeing one of the biggest train wrecks when it comes to a bullpen in the history. Forget this season, this crazy, weird 60 game that won't even be 60 game season. I'm talking about the history of Major League Baseball. Insanity when you start to try and figure this thing out. At Shander Show is how you get us on Twitter. We're live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Shander Show, 800-224-2004, the phone number. It's the second level on Sports Map Radio.
Introducing AutomotiveMap.com, a brand new website for anyone interested in what's happening in the world of
I got the green screen.
vintage rides to tips on keeping your family safe on the road. AutomotiveMap.com has something for you.
Whenever you want to get to it, maybe.
And the amazing technology hitting your favorite showroom? Check out the brand new AutomotiveMap.com.
The Jake Asman Show.
If you made it through 30 seconds of that without just ripping your ears off your head, you deserve a gold star, a medal. At no point did I agree with anything he said. At no point did I understand anything he said. I like Russell Wilson, the player, but I'm sorry. The Seahawks should go 2-14 based off that video alone. And as a Jet fan, and the Jets own their picks, I hope they are terrible. I hope Mr. Unlimited has a terrible season and the Seahawks lose. And I like Russell Wilson, but I can't do it. That was horrendous. I mean, that is, what is he saying? And is that Sierra on the background being like, Russ, what are we doing? What was the purpose of that video? You made it through 30 seconds. God bless you and your family.
The Jake Asman Show, weekday mornings from 9 to 11 Eastern.
Into the night.
So we found out that white pros in the bubble are doing the beer shotgunning. J.J. Redick and some guy named
Myers Leonard.
Myers Leonard. I thought that was an electronics store in Indiana. Go to Myers Leonard today and get yourself a brand new 75-inch plasma.
50% off on VCRs.
Harry, it's Myers Leonard. His prices are insane.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern.
Wake up call.
You told me.
I warned you.
You told me. You said that you thought they were trying to hang on to disco. This is 1983 Throwback Thursday. This is the ending song of Return of the Jedi. And they just turned it into a disco song.
A more upbeat.
Did this make the charts in 83?
Yes. This was in the top 100 on the Billboard chart.
What's it officially called?
It's officially called Ewok Celebration by Miko.
Can you imagine Casey Kasem having to do this on America's Top 40?
Can you imagine being in a club?
Oh, my goodness.
You're sitting there, you're just having a good time. This starts playing.
It's one of the more popular movies of the 1983. And they turned it into a disco hit. Here's Miko, the number 21 song with a bullet at the Ewok Net.
Yeah, what is it?
America's Top 40.
Wake up call with Tony
Which one?
Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to...
I have the prep sheet.
The Lawrence cut and the 3 Frost cuts, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're listening to The Second Level on the Sports Map Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Home loans that fit your life. Rocket can.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, with way more than the scores, here's Eitan Shander.
So I threw this out, and I know that it's always an open invitation to be trolled whenever you throw a question out there. And the more serious it can be, the wider the net that you cast for the return of a troll. I totally understand. But I threw this out on Twitter earlier. Who is your favorite, at Shander Show, of course, your favorite artist or band in a genre of music you rarely, if ever, listen to? And I guess the hopes here would be the return would carry over of a group or an artist that you do listen to, you just don't listen to anybody else in that genre. And I'm amazed at how little I know of the responses that I got. Now, you can take an obvious one out right away. I am familiar with the works of Conway Twitty, and that's probably right around the line on here, which in that know or don't know. So I don't know. I mean, at @BMore_Al hit me up with Conway Twitty, and I'm familiar. I don't listen to, I guess you would call him a country music artist. So I am not deep into country by any means, but that's probably, clearly where he had his most success in that genre of music. So I imagine just from going back and forth with BMoreAl a bunch on Twitter, and he's a great follow at @BMore_Al, that country is not his top genre. So Conway Twitty, that's a perfect example of somebody who's probably listened to a bunch of Conway Twitty and goes from there. Now, more responses, I don't, some of them I know, like clearly, okay, at @Cap_Dub, Stevie Ray Vaughan. So not somebody who would be a classic rock fan, somebody in that genre. I'm not really sure where this person is, but even if you want to look at it as far as like blues to classic rock and that combo of genre creating that Stevie Ray Vaughan, then that's fine too. But when it gets to, like, I've never heard of Boys Like Girls. Have you, Sean?
No, I have not.
Okay. So now we have to look this up and see who they actually are. American rock band from Boston, Massachusetts, founded in 2005. They sold over 700,000 albums, their self-titled debut album on RIAA, earning a gold record. Now, I don't know what they've done since. It looks like their third album, Crazy World, was released December 11th, 2012. Doesn't look like they've done anything since. But that's the thing, is I've never heard of them. And that's such a specific answer from Gina. I want to make sure I get her actual account right here. But at Gina_Marie 215. So again, you would think, like, based off these answers, you would think, well, what are you normally listening to that you would bring up a band or an artist and then the genre that they're in? So it's one thing to bring up Stevie Ray Vaughan, say, yeah, I'm a hip hop guy, but I listen to Stevie Ray Vaughan and he's a popular name, very popular name. Vampire Weekend was from at Chip and Chip. Never heard of him. Now, again, Sean, I defer to you if you've heard of these bands. Rock band. See, this is an American rock band formed in 2006. They're currently with Columbia Records. But isn't that such a specific answer to where if you don't listen to rock, such a wide genre of music, to hit me with that? Now, look, this is more of a typical answer I would expect. At, I believe, L_Marxism, pop music, Duran Duran. Well, all right, you don't listen to pop. So Duran Duran is a very popular group, and it would make sense. Similar to Larry, who tweets country, Zac Brown Band, another very popular group that is probably towing that line of country and, I don't know, some sort of bluegrass. But speaking of which, I saw this come in here, and Gangsta Grass, although the genre is half true, listen to rap, I do not listen to bluegrass. That's at Virtual Chili. So in all of this, we might have discovered a new genre of music. What? Gangsta Grass is a group of musicians in New York City, most known for the theme song of the FX television show Justified. Well, that was an amazing show. I think I always fast forwarded because I usually had it on DVR. I was not watching it live. There was another show that was on the same time as Justified. So I would watch that and then watch Justified after, kind of like dessert, because I was more hate watching that first show, but I would watch it live, complain about it on Twitter, and then move to Justified. But I've never heard of this group And I thought this was a genre, and now it's actually a group. It's an American bluegrass. How do you even combine bluegrass and hip hop like that? I wouldn't even know where to begin. The Justified theme song, to my knowledge, didn't. Now, again, I watched every episode of that show, but probably saw the intro twice based on how I viewed it. And I'd never watch intros. I always fast forward, especially if you have the skip intro. That's one of the best inventions on any app or ability to watch television, is for you to skip the intro. I do it all the time. Who watches intros? That's what they're most famous for? We're going to have to pull some Gangsta Grass after Bill Bender joins us coming up next, because I think we all need to get a little taste of what this sounds like. See what happens. You throw a question out, you get some answers you never expect.
Jay Farner here.
Can you send me?
I'm send it to you.
Making the right financial decision.
Okay.
Never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage,
And you wanted the first Lawrence hopes the season doesn't get canceled.
Yeah, were there two?
3-8 Rocket.
There's three apparently.
Give you that.
That was Swinney.
Yeah, no, there's a couple Swinney too, but the first one I already grabbed for Jake.
Lawrence
Same.
Hope season doesn't get
Number
canceled.
33.
Yeah,
That's fine. And then the three Frost ones are great.
yeah, and then the first three Frost.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, I only
Presents
have
Odds and Ends,
one
brought to you by
Lawrence
Bet
and three
US.
Frost.
It's simply better
That's weird.
I think I'm getting a more comprehensive.
Got it.
on the
I
odds,
don't know,
Okay.
fights, and matches, while also providing his keen insight as a
but just Frost have to look out for players, and his players want to play.
Yep.
day
All right.
exclusively on the Sports
Thank you,
Map
sir.
Radio Network.
Jake Asman here. One of the big changes we're all dealing with is wearing a mask, but not all offer the same comfort and protection.
What's the guest name?
Player
Bill
comfortable,
Bender.
breathable
Okay.
in hands with nano silver technology. Nano silver can block those tiny drops and particles from getting to your nose and mouth. They also offer those popular nano silver neck gaiters, available in sizes for adults and children, in stock now and shipped to you fast. Order now at boomernaturals.com. Use promo code Jake and save 20%. That's code Jake at boomernaturals.com.
Dell supports America's entrepreneurs during Small Business Month with all you need to office anywhere. Save up to 45% on computers and servers with Intel Core processors. Upgrade to new modern devices with Windows 10. Plus, save on top brand tech while enjoying free shipping on everything and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call 877-ASK-DELL to talk to a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the tech that's just right. That's 877-ASK-DELL or visit Dell.com/smallbusinessdeals.
Third floor study hall. First floor homeroom. My dining room table.
Wherever school happens for you this year, Staples has everything from notebooks to sanitizer, laptops to face masks. Now at Staples, get 20% off your in-store purchase of hand sanitizer, masks, and other PPE products. Go to staples.com/20off PPE for your coupon.
In front of the TV.
No chance, kiddo. Staples. Shop in-store or pick up curbside. Ends 8/22. In-store. Exclusions apply.
Awesome.
See store for details. Curbside available in most stores.
From muscle pain, body aches,
I'll also work on the Gangsta Grass.
to
Thanks,
maximum
man.
arthritis.
Do you want just the Justified theme song? Or
See if you could pull
It's
that, and
unique
anything
formula.
else you can find would be
Okay.
great. Thank you.
Deep to
we might come back with that next.
Yeah,
the
we
last
could do it
time.
after Bill.
It's-
Bill's
and
only got
more.
about 12 minutes.
Blue
So.
Okay.
maximum arthritis. It works fast, and you won't stink. Find Blue Emu at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, and other chains, or visit blue-emu.com.
Dealing with the root of the issues. It's the second level on the Sports Map Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eitan Shander.
Well, let's jump right into it on the progressive guest line as we have tried to figure this thing out in, I'd say, the last 40 minutes. No answers here. So we turn to the expert, Bill Bender, at Bill Bender 92. Covers everything for college football, coast to coast, north to south for Sporting News, sportingnews.com. Bill, Eitan Shander, it's always a pleasure. I know it's crazy right now, so thank you for a couple of minutes. let's start with where we are right now at 11:40 a.m. Eastern time. What is the state of the future of the Big Ten and Pac-12 to your knowledge?
Well, I mean, we're going to find out some things today. I mean, obviously there's some voting going on and some decisions to be made, whether they delay or postpone or cancel is all on the table. I think the Big Ten found out yesterday what that reaction might look like. And the first Power 5 conference to go is going to face that because you could cancel and then the SEC and ACC could go. And that's another layer to this where all 5 conferences aren't on the same page.
Yeah, and I don't know how that changes in the next couple of days, right? Where all of a sudden everybody gets on the same page magically or miraculously in the next week.
Right, and I think I doubt we get there. And now you've seen all kinds of different mixed messages, at least from Big Ten. I wrote for us yesterday, the Ohio State and Michigan's. I knew they were going to throw their weight around as soon as that decision leaked, or that lack of decision, the story about it leaked. And then, Nebraska's talking about scheduling within a 500-mile radius. Steve Sipple had some really good reporting on that. There's nobody better at reporting the Huskers than him. And everything else that goes with that. I do think the Pac-12 will cancel. It's just my feeling based on what I've read and what I've heard. And then we'll see what the Big Ten does from there. And then I think it goes, the tables turn to the Big 12 and what decision they end up making.
So before we even look at the Big 12, cancel is the word you used. Is that going to mean we're not going to see anything, even if another conference delays and picks back up in February? The Pac-12 is just going to write this year off entirely?
I think spring football just isn't going to work in the Power 5. That's just my personal feeling. I mean, they can try it. They can jazz up spring football however they want to try to do that. But why would Lawrence, Justin Fields, Najee Harris, and I could rip off about 100 more names, why would they play in the spring? Right. Those guys have already opted out. It just won't feel the same. I think your best bet there. And given all the issues that have been presented with players and unionization and everything there, just get everything organized for next year.
Well, I'm curious, how much goes away with just coming back to football? Because you're right, there have been other conversations, not just COVID related. Unionization has been discussed, or at least brought up for a while now. How realistic that may be is a different topic. But you also mentioned in the Pac-12 specifically, we've seen players speak out about colleges and universities needing to do more to address racial injustice. So I wonder how much of the other conversations go away, or at least are tabled, if in fact even the Big Ten comes back and says, no, we're playing, despite what you heard, everybody's playing moving forward.
If everybody plays, I think those player conversations are still at the forefront. It's just they may take on a different tenor. My thing is, I totally get where the athletes are coming from. The tweets by Harris and Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence, their list of demands are perfectly reasonable. But if we're talking long term and a players association and all of the things that they really want, compensation, revenue, figuring out what a student athlete's value really is, especially in football, that's going to take more time than this year. And then we just have, but I think it took the pandemic to really force that issue into somewhere where the schools are actually really uncomfortable. And I think there will be a compromise down the line. I just don't think that compromise is happening in 3 weeks. You know what I mean? I mean, we're trying to get this season in place right now.
Absolutely. Bill Bender joining us at Bill Bender 92 on Twitter, Sporting News, sportingnews.com, all things college football. In your opinion, how realistic is it? I know we all, from our jobs to the entertainment value to being able to read picks and bet those picks of yours, Bill, we all want this game to be back, but it's not a professional setting, although, you know, you can make insert joke there. It's not to that level of the NFL getting pushed like it was, or other pro sports with unions and CBAs. How likely is it that even if conferences decide to play through protocol and safety, it's realistic that they can get through a season?
Well, right now it's not looking great because, again, and you and I have talked about this a little bit through the pandemic. It just seemed like 5 different conferences, 5 different plans, 5 different results. And They needed one result, one uniform plan. You know, I was thrown off a little bit when the Big Ten scheduled a game for Labor Day. I went down to my wife and said, they're not going to play on Labor Day. There's no way. And I get why the plan was set, to give them some wiggle room to move things around. But, you know, I always thought late September was the best shot at starting a season. I think the SEC nailed that. But on the flip side, though, I did think the Big Ten had it right with conference-only scheduling, and that seemed to be such a big deal at the time. It's the best bet to get a season in.
So basically, the ideal scenario would be you create, even if it's mental bubbles, you create in each Power 5 conference your own setting of only dealing with in-conference competition, and from there, worrying about any postseason when you get to it.
Exactly. Now, well, that's kind of college football in a nutshell, with the exception of September anyway. I mean, you still got to survive your conference, lose less than 2. I mean, think about it. Again, that's something you and I have kind of talked about in the past, is like I always tell people, you can't lose 2 games and go to the playoffs.
Right.
That's been proven. So why, it doesn't matter who you schedule, honestly. I mean, yeah, those games used to beef up your resume, but if you're in a one-loss jumble, but the first rule to the playoff to me is win all your games. And if you don't win all your games, don't lose twice. And that hasn't been proven wrong in 5 years, and I don't think conference-only play will change that.
Well, is there resistance coming from areas inside college football on that notion, as far as why that hasn't at least been executed across all of the conferences?
Well, I just think, again, their messages are all over the place. I mean, I don't envy Kevin Warren at all. I think Kevin Warren's done a nice job as Big Ten commissioner for his first season. He's progressive. He listens to the athletes. He's probably listening to the doctors. And here's where we're getting into a problem, is you've got school presidents, you've got doctors, you've got ADs, and you've got football coaches. And I think that all 4 have different interests in mind, right? The scientists don't care what the college football coach thinks. They're going to tell you what the data is. And I think that's a kind of a microcosm, I hate that word, sorry, but of what we're dealing with in this country in terms of masks and everything else. And I don't get political about it, but my family we've been quarantined, we've done what we can, and we follow the guidelines that are put out there. But we haven't stayed in our basement for 5 months. I just think that's psychologically impossible.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think that there is a lot of pressure that is most likely unfair to be put on a 19, 20, 21-year-old kid to follow every single rule and every single protocol, and not to vilify that kid who does not. But I think it's just realistic, especially when you see, recently where a lot of the influx of, infection rates are with younger kids. And you just think to yourself, college and university athletics in its own right are tough to govern when you're talking about a kid staying out of trouble. Now you've added an extra element. That's where I fear like the conversation is going with a lot of people outside the sport of just get back, just get back, just get back. And then when you have to deal with the day-to-days and the concerns about keeping a young man focused and not going out and breaking protocol like we see in professional sports happen already, it's like those people are gone and they're no longer there to help support.
Yeah, and again, you mentioned the pressure on a student athlete. I think they're being asked to do so much, but to guys like Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence's credit, neither one of those guys has to take another snap on a college football field to make millions of dollars. They're probably going to be 1 and 2 in the draft, maybe 1 and 3. But they're kind of leading this movement to want to play. And I think you're seeing that honestly, you're seeing that from the schools that know they can win. Ohio State, Michigan credit. I mean, for a school that gets ripped on for losing to Ohio State every year, Jim Harbaugh's out there at front, leading the charge to play. And I think that's for a multitude of reasons.
Bill Bender joining us at Bill Bender 92. A couple of minutes. I know you have to get going. So I just wanted to ask, looking ahead right now, what are you predicting ultimately is going to happen? 2 to 3 conferences playing, picking up, as you mentioned, teams that may have seen their conference cancel or delay. And then what happens, I guess the follow-up to that would be, what happens if Ohio State joins the SEC and runs through the SEC? Is there an asterisk next to them as far as what they did this year?
I think if people play college football, there should be no asterisks anywhere, and no matter who plays where and how it's done and how they get it done. It's just going to go down as one of the wildest seasons of probably the wildest season of our lifetime that it happened. So I think a couple of the Power 5 conferences are going to cancel. Obviously, you're seeing this in the Group of 5. The Sun Belt marches on. MAC and Mountain West are down, but Sun Belt's trying to do their thing. So I think all of those things are at work, and we'll see how they go.
Is there a likelihood, and last one for you, Bill, and again, appreciate it and truly hope all is well with you and yours, man. Is there anything in your brain that would indicate that at the end of this day or the end of this week, as crazy and as all over the place as these Power 5 can be, disjointed, if you will, that it's only the Pac-12 that ultimately cancels, that we're only looking at one of the Power 5 that says no?
Could be. I mean, they could cancel, and then the Big Ten could delay. I think the Big Ten will delay, and they'll go off that September 3rd start. I think everybody will try late September. And then it's kind of, the analogy that gets made a lot is feels a little bit like a Band-Aid that you're slowly pulling off. And I hate doing that, but, it's where we're at. And, I mean, at least give yourself that opportunity instead of canceling now and then watching the ACC and SEC play, because I think the drawback for that, for the Big Ten, they'll never hear the end of it if that happens.
Awesome, Bill. Thank you so much for the time. I know it's crazy today. Appreciate it, and we'll chat soon. And I do hope all is well with you and yours, man.
Thanks for thinking of me, and same to your family. And we'll get to games eventually. You and I can talk about games at some point, hopefully. Thanks so much.
You got it, Bill. Thanks again. Take care. At Bill Bender 92, Sporting News, sportingnews.com. And you hear just the uncertainty in his voice and so many others who know the game as well as Bill about where this thing can go. And uncertainty doesn't always mean a negative. It shouldn't connote something negative here. It's just a reality that we simply don't know right now. Think about it. You can create your own odds in your head. Maybe we'll do that. We've got an upgrade or update, pardon me, not grade by all means, on this gangsta grass. But think about this, and we'll go through it a little bit. And you'll hear from Joe Girardi in the second hour, this thing with the Philadelphia Phillies, a betting tip for you, to say the least. Okay, I'm here to provide value for you. But if you just look at the odds, all 5 conferences will play. 4 of 5 conferences will play. Or 3 or less will play. We'll put those 3 up there and maybe even create a poll in the break. My goodness, could we even do that? Create a poll. It is something we rarely, if ever, do on this show. Now, we open it up to you, 800-224-2004. At Shander Show is how you get me on Twitter. We're live on Twitch, as always, twitch.tv/Shander Show. I'll put that up there, see what people think. We will return and wrap the hour next year on Sports Map Radio.
Wake up call! Please, God, if it does come to that, can we have the Walking Dead zombies, not the World War Z?
Yeah, I don't need the fast-moving
superhuman. I'm not outrunning a World War Z zombie.
I'm the guy you bring because secretly I can't keep up with the rest of the group. Hey, I'm going to take Bob and Jim and Tony. You come with us, too. And everybody knows why you're bringing me. So when push comes to shove, I'm the meal.
Wake up call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
The second level.
For the fake news, the third story, which is Jake Asman schooling you on a tweet I sent over the weekend.
This is the result of that said tweet. I got to talk to the guy after you who tweeted out that a new name was going to be announced in 15 minutes. Did you see that
Yeah,
tweet?
so I think Aton was making the joke, basically being like, oh, we have a bad PR story. Well, let's announce a new name so no one's talking about Darius.
Well, that was a bad joke. It went over my head.
Yeah, he fooled you. See, I'm on Aton's level there. He was doing a little joking troll, being like, oh, watch them put out their name now. No one will talk about Darius. Guys, we'll be talking about their new name.
That was awesome. And thank you, Jake Asman. Look at that guy standing up for me, and he said even I'm on his level. Jake Asman is on the second level. I was trying to bring you up there with that joke on Friday. I can't believe, of all people, you took it literally.
The second level with Aton Shander. Weekdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern.
This is the Sports Map Radio Network.
Let's face facts. It really is amazing.
Your home for Tony Bruno.
He has a take, but he sort of sucks at the same time. You know, you had a take or two, but for the most part, I got to run you.
And Scott Farrell.
Bobby, can you get my divorce lawyer on the phone, please? Because I'm going to watch 6 hockey games a day, and I'm not even going to bathe.
The nation's fastest growing 24/7 radio network is the Sports Map Radio Network.
Beautiful.
Into the night.
Over the weekend, I wasn't on the internet much. I was just chilling by.
Well, you were in a pool.
I wasn't in the pool all the time, but I was playing with the chickens. I was picking eggs, helping my son work on his outboard motor. You know, I'm doing like all kinds of country
eggs.
things. Yeah, we go every day.
You gather. You don't pick them.
I pick.
You gather
Was
eggs.
this like an egg hunt?
No, my
No,
son
they're
has
chickens.
14 chickens, and they walk around all day, and they're eating everything.
Right.
It's amazing. Chickens roam around, but they know when to go home at night.
They're like me.
Yeah, they're like Harry. Hey, it's about time. It's getting a little dark out there. Let's get the hell out of here, man. Some possum's going to come up and eat
Chickens
us.
go home to roost. Harry, that's what he does. He goes home to roost.
And I always say the chickens are going to come home to roost
That's
one
right.
of these days, and they do every single night. And then I would lead them in. I was actually leading a brigade of chickens.
You know, I needed video of that. Were you doing a show for the chickens? Like I
No,
see
they love
walking
me.
around?
The chickens are great. You pick them up, they walk up to you.
Yeah.
I am the chicken whisperer. They're awesome.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern.
On this lonely road, trying to make it home, doing it by my lonesome, pissed off who wants some. I'm fighting for my soul.
Dealing with the root of the issues. It's the second level on the Sports Map Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eitan Shander.
Yeah, I can see that now. And again, I've watched every episode of that show, Justified, and always fast forwarded through the. Not because I didn't like it, just because I don't watch intros. So, yeah, I guess I could hear the influences of both rap music and bluegrass, but I don't know. It just sounds different. All right, to each their own. If I don't like it, I don't like it. I don't knock it. It's just how I am. But I can't see myself seeking out more gangsta grass. Now, Sean Mapes, of course, in the house for Rod Culver today, who ducked out not an entire day, but did the show early with Tony, had Matt Marshall on a full program with Tony D, and then slipped out the back door, leaving Jake Asman and myself in more than capable hands, mind you. And it's not a reflection of anybody or anything more than just where Ron Culver stands when it comes to the two of us. He could have easily finished out the day, but instead thought it's not a vacation if I have to work with Jake and Shander. And I'm throwing Jake in there too, because he could have easily slid in and done the Asman show and then left, since Jake is in studio. But no, we're more than happy and thrilled to have Sean on board. You pulled the green screen clip. We should wait until next hour for that. Did you grab any more gangsta grass?
Yes, I did. We might
I tell you what,
be using it as a rejoin throughout the show.
Oh, wow.
No, not throughout the show. I grabbed one more clip. I don't want to oversell anyone.
No, that's fine. I wonder, though. See, I'm tempted. I want to hear it. Are we really going to have to wait until 12 after the hour? And probably even after that. Like 25. That's the next real rejoin. Oh, no, I guess you're right. 12 after the hour. Okay. I can do that. I can wait for that. Second hour, second level, Sports Map Radio. Coming your way right now. Too much, man.
Yeah, yesterday when Ron said, hey, can you come in 8 to 12 Central, I immediately knew what was up.
World. What's that?
I was like, he's gonna do Wake Up Call, and then I'm gonna do
those two.
Yeah.
NFL.
And I was like, yep, Eitan's probably gonna point it out too.
Action. The executive that,
if you even realized what was happening,
is being paid a large sum of money by someone that really loves Lamar Jackson.
The Jake Asman Show. Weekday mornings from 9 to 11 Eastern.
Yeah.
Wake up call.
Well, because you'd mentioned it before, where you feel like Ron's heart is with Tony, and then he just kind of does Jake in your show.
And everything just doesn't make any sense. And like, how is he doing this? And he's like got a genie or something, or he makes a wish, and magically he's able to do a million things immediately that you're like, wow. Patrick Mahomes went from C+, I can't believe the Chiefs moved up in the draft to get this guy who's a massive work in progress, to he doesn't have enough shelf space for all the awards that are coming his way 3 years into this league. Like
Not even 3. It's
like
2.5.
2.5, really, because he played one game his rookie season.
Yeah.
So the 2 full years that he's been the quarterback of the Chiefs, he doesn't have enough shelf space for all the awards that are piling at his house.
Wake up call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
Pharrell.
Coast to coast. Is Saturday pro football not better than sex? If the NFL played Saturdays and Sundays, I wouldn't even talk to my wife ever, even though she's smoking hot and I love her. I mean, if there's football on Saturday and Sunday, pro football to bet on, I mean, it's junk food city and betting on football all day. Give me Saturday football. Screw college football.
Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern.
The Jake Asman Show.
The great Tim Kirchin joins us now. So what is your confidence level right now as we sit here on a Monday morning that Major League Baseball will complete its season?
Well, note my hesitation on this. I don't think we're going to make it through. There were all sorts of reports that the season could end as early as today. That's simply not going to happen. But the game is in turmoil, and it should be, given what it's up against, a pandemic like we've never seen before. And my guess is if we have another outbreak like the Marlins, or even like the Cardinals, then that might be enough to say the integrity of the game is in question, but most important, the health and safety of all people around the game is in question. So that might be enough to say, all right, we're not going to play.
The Jake Osmond Show. Weekday mornings from 9 to 11 Eastern.
Introducing AutomotiveMap.com, a brand new website for anyone interested in what's happening in the world of automobiles. From reviews on the latest vehicles to vintage rides to tips on keeping your family safe on the road, AutomotiveMap.com has something for you. If you love cars, trucks, and SUVs, and the amazing technology hitting your favorite showroom, check out the brand new AutomotiveMap.com.
Into the night.
Here with Tim Brando, Fox Sports college football guy. Let's get to this Big Ten debacle, because the Big Ten hasn't actually made it official. But the commissioner, does he just like floating this out there to see which way the wind? Yeah, and then he puts his finger up and he licks it and puts it in the air to see which way the wind's blowing before he cancels the Big Ten season?
You know, sadly, it sort of looks that way. There's a lot more to it than that. And I've been pounding the pavement for almost 2 decades, saying we need one voice for college football. We need unified and universal leadership. How in the world did we get to this point where we find out from the commissioners of the Power Five that each stinking one of them has their own Anthony Fauci? 5 epidemiologists aren't going to agree on anything. And the fact is no epidemiologist from the Southeastern Conference or ACC is having consultation at all with the Big Ten, the Pac-12, and the Big 12 is absurd.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern.
The second level.
Whose last name would you take as your own if you had to pick one? Asman, Desiri, or Shander?
It's not Asman.
Ron Asman?
Yeah.
I think you'd have to go Tony, right? Ron Shander isn't terrible.
Ron Shander sounds like a real estate agent. Ron Desiri or Ronnie D.
Ronnie D is great. Tony D, Ronnie D. You guys are a couple of brothers out there.
The second level with Eitan Shander. Weekdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern.
One of the big changes we're all dealing with is wearing a mask, but not all offer the same comfort and protection. I recommend the Boomer Naturals 3-layer comfortable breathable mask enhanced with nano silver technology. Nano silver can block those tiny drops and particles from getting to your nose and mouth. They also offer nano silver neck gaiters, available in sizes for adults and children, and are in stock now and shipped to you fast. Order now at boomernaturals.com. Use the promo code Tony and save 20%. That's code Tony at boomernaturals.com.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. When you turn to Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. And MLS number 3030.
This is a Gal Media property in partnership with Jacob Media.
Set your system's volume control for slightly above the normal listening level. Let's go.
Second level thinking is defined as looking beyond the easy, obvious conclusions.
You got to do some smart thinking.
Welcome to the second level. On the Sports Map Radio Network, a show where we go beyond the box score.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Home loans that fit your life. Rocket can.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
Yo, just saw this tweet an hour ago. Blockbuster put it out, just checking in with the hand-waving sign. And of course, so many people have responded, rightfully so, that they still have, and just flash to whatever DVD or even VHS, if you go back that far, still have all of the cassettes, DVDs, and anything that they got from Blockbuster. As Blockbuster went under, you clearly weren't asked to return. And what's crazy is that so many people were involved in this thing. First off, they opened themselves up to it. It was one of the biggest scams going on in movie rental history. Way more than anything. You could never get away with this at your local video rental place. Now, to be fair, your local video rental place had an adult section. So as bold as you may have been as an 18, 19-year-old kid home from college, going down the street and venturing on into that section, you couldn't do that in Blockbuster. There was no adult section. But what there was, this plan that I guess somebody, maybe like the future Rob Manfred, put in place, where you only had to return, or you only really did return what you rented from the store in which you rented it from. I mean, can you imagine that going on now? U-Haul, for example, has the one-way service where you can rent a truck and go from somewhere in Florida to somewhere in Pennsylvania one way. Can you imagine any type of service where, oh, no, it doesn't matter, just drop it off anywhere you can? Man, we had so many movies and video games when it was all said and done because you could just keep going to other Blockbusters and not have to pay the late charge. Yeah, Blockbuster, good job checking in, but I think it's not going the way you wanted it. You're going to set a lot more people respond with, do you want this back, than anything else. I sold all my video games and DVDs before the craze happened. Unbelievable.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic.
So do you want to do the 3 real weird stories
Yeah.
we did when I filled in?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
To
forgot to mention
diarrhea?
that to you, but yeah.
I figured you could do it unspoken. I figured, but just want to double check.
And I
But
trust you.
EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
Hi, this is Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial decisions has never been more important. We can help guide you to those right decisions now when they matter most. Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so when you call 8338-ROCKET or visit us at rocketmortgage.com to start your refinance, you'll be well on your way to saving money every month. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.375%, APR 3.59%. Right now could be a great time for you to take some positive financial steps forward with a cash-out refinance from Rocket Mortgage, which could give you the boost that you're looking for. In addition, we may be able to help you refinance with little or no out-of-pocket costs. At Rocket Mortgage, we're committed to every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, giving you the best mortgage experience. Call us today at 833-8-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Rates subject to change. Pay 1.875% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
School goes on.
And Staples has everything to start the year right.
From notebooks to sanitizer, laptops to masks.
And all at amazing prices. This week, a 12-pack of Staples No. 2 pencils, 120-sheet filler paper, and select plastic pencil boxes are just 50 cents each.
Shop in store or pick up curbside.
School on, save on at Staples.
Ends 8/15. Filler paper and pencil boxes valid in-store only. Limit 6. Limits vary online. While supplies last. Curbside available in most stores.
You're going on a trip, but where are you going to stay? How much will it cost? Well, it'll cost less by booking on besthotelrates.com. BestHotelRates.com works with all the top hotels in the country while delivering you great hotel and room choices for the best prices. Why wait? Go to BestHotelRates.com, enter your email address, and start shopping for your next hotel room. BestHotelRates.com, it's in the name. BestHotelRates.com.
All the songs sound a little
I
bit.
was
the
just
same.
going to say it.
Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
I remember 20 years ago, I was standing in that.
Look at Sean Mapes hitting the post right there. My goodness. Now, this is more Gangsta Grass. And what this essentially, now this song does sound awfully similar to the Justified intro. But what I would say is this is really just a bluegrass song that somebody put a hip-hop beat underneath.
Yeah, the rapping starts here shortly.
And I agree with everything that the judge said. If you come back around, I'm going out like Judge Dredd. What was in your head when you made those choices? I can only hope that you were
Not a fan?
Yeah, I just it's not that. Here's the thing: it's not that I dislike it. Now, here you have to understand this as well. I am a snob about two things on this planet, and I admit it, and I readily accept the hypocrisy that I'm anti-snob about everything else. But I am a snob about two things on this planet because I feel like I associate with them done correctly and at their best. First is pizza. It's very difficult for me. Now, I've warmed up to Philadelphia pizza because there's been enough that I've tried that is decent to good to where I need to stop comparing it to New York. Now, my family's from New York City, so I was born there, Southern Connecticut, and even there you have similar pizza. So I've become a pizza snob from growing up in that region, and that's it. There's nothing else about food. I'll eat anything else. I don't care. Sushi, I'll eat in a landlocked state. That's fine. It's not a snob about any other food but pizza. And then the other part of it is 80s to 90s hip-hop rap music. So I'm already a tough critic when it comes to stuff that's probably post-2000. Now, it doesn't mean that an artist, usually what happens is I'm a fan of somebody who right now is making music, their early, older stuff, because that's when they made their sound more consistent with what was being put out late 90s, let's say. So from that angle, I'm already going to be a really tough critic when it comes to anybody who's putting out rap music in the hip-hop culture. So, yeah, from like the rap brain in me would say, nah, pass. You know, that just sounds like it's better than a Limp Bizkit verse. I'll give you that, but it's still just not really great. Now, as far as the creativity of mixing the two genres, and the reason why we're even bringing this up and you're listening to Gangsta Grass is because we put a Tuesday tweet of the day out that had to do with your favorite group or artist that you listen to in a genre of music that you rarely, if ever, listen to, and trying to pull how much you really cross over into different genres. So one of our guys on Twitter responded with Gangsta Grass, and I thought that was the actual genre of music. But it turns out it's really just, as Virtual Chili was the one who started this thing, although the genre is half true. Listen to rap. I do not listen to bluegrass. So there it is. I mean, that's I would think that Gangsta Grass would appeal more to the opposite of Christian and others who would listen to bluegrass but have now been opened up to something like, I mean, that rap, it's like basic rap. You know, it's something where you would find a rock group asking one of their guys to spit a verse because that dude could freestyle in college at 3 a.m. You know, oh, let's get you out there. You know, it'll be cool. And yeah, it's a little awkward when you hear Beck and others, you know, try and rap to that extent. This, though, I think was a full-on attempt at it. And that's where I think, or at least I thought, the appeal would be somebody listening to bluegrass first and then opening up to rap music as opposed to listening to rap and then hearing that. I don't know. And I'm familiar with Justified to the point where I know the show left and right, but that the intro was I think the intro is much better of a mix of genre, in my opinion, than that last song that you just played, Sean, mainly because up until the rap hit, it just felt like they went into the studio, they recorded that song, and then they said, all right, instead of the drums that Johnny's playing in the studio, let's just replace it with an old drum track, a beat track, you know? Do me a favor, let me get that one more time. Because I think you can hear it where it's almost like a typical rap beat you would hear from, I don't know, like a Mobb Deep or any of these early 90s groups where it was slowed down significantly. Yeah. That drum cadence isn't even used anymore in current songs in rap. And the slower it gets, the easier it is for somebody to rap over it if they're not really rap. See, you start to bring stuff up like this, we'll go a little deeper. You may not be prepared for the depths in which we take it. Oh, that's fine. That's
I don't mind the bluegrass part.
No,
of it.
I don't either. You're right. If you remove the, it's a good point. You know, I don't want to slam it all together, Sean. You're right. You can let it play for a little. But then the rap comes in and then it ruins it for me. But this is not bad. And, you know, I wonder what it would sound like if you remember, Jay-Z made the Gray album where he essentially did that with a lot of Beatles. You can take this slower mid to late 80s, early 90s rap beat cadence, that drums that you'll hear, that drum sound and that cadence of it, the tempo is key. And you could put it to most rock, most grass, like you could put it to most music like that. I mean, think about it. You could add it to Bob Marley. You could add it to a bluegrass. You could add it to the Beatles. It's going to make it sound fuller. Now it just gets ridiculous. They lose me with the rap element. I respect Christian C, Virtual Chili, for weighing in and giving us this. Otherwise, we wouldn't have that level of content. But it sounds now it sounds confusing to me. You know, like, what are you? This isn't positionless basketball where you could say, no, he's not really a 5 because he bangs threes and he pushes the ball on the break. They kind of go too far into the extremes for me when it should just be more of this. This would be a nice attempt, at least, I guess, at bluegrass, gangsta grass.
You nailed the nail on the head when you said it sounds like a guy just rapping, like a guy in a band that's rapping, like when like Linkin Park or Green Day has a rap breakdown. You're like, do we need this?
Yeah, do what you do. Stay in your lane. And do it. Those bands you mentioned are successful. You know, I would prefer Green Day over Linkin Park, but there's no knock, right? They've had a level of success that we can't knock. Why change it? Right? Why? And look, I'll be honest, so that this is not a total hypocritical thing on only people trying to venture into rap music. One of my favorite rappers of all time, Mos Def, came on as an underground, heavy themed MC. And when he got this level of fame, he decided to put out a rock album. Now, the rock album wasn't terrible. It wasn't laughable. It wasn't like somebody who's got a ton of money and thinks they can rap is going to create their label and put out his own album. It was decent, but it was just such a far departure that it had to be pristine, and it wasn't. And you're thinking to yourself, I get it that you have a passion for this and maybe you wanted to dive into this, but just continue. You don't need to be a jukebox by any means, but continue to do what you do well. And that goes for anybody in any genre of music, by all means. At Shander Show on Twitter, twitch.tv/Shander Show. 12:40 Eastern. We'll let you hear what happened with Joe Girardi and the Phillies last night and why there is instant value on the board that you'd be a fool to pass up. And you may be patient, and you're going to have to be patient. But that's really where we're at. Now, I just saw this on Twitter. I don't know if you are following the latest trends, Sean, or anyone else who's following along in the program, but there is a hashtag that has now picked up steam to where it's one of the top trends in the country, and that's Block Mr. Peanut. So I'm trying to sift through what's going on here, and it looks like it's people just attacking Mr. Peanut, but I don't know what Mr. Peanut or that account did. I mean, there's some real hatred right now coming out of random Twitter accounts that are getting retweeted all over the place. Did he put out like an all peanuts matter tweet? Do you have any idea what's going on? I never liked that Peanut. Block Mr. Peanut. Bleep that Peanut guy. Block Mr. Peanut. We can't let him win. We just can't. People are even jumping in. I don't even know what this is about, but I'm just going to block Mr. Peanut.
It looks like it's do you remember the Super Bowl commercial, which feels like 25 years ago, where Mr. Peanut died?
Yes.
And now, so it looks like it's the Peanut Jr., formerly known as Baby Nut, who is formerly known as Mr. Peanut.
So
I think people are just done, because he put out a tweet an hour ago saying, I'm officially 21. Before you ask, yes, I was just a baby. What can I say? It's been a nutty year.
This account has 135.2 thousand followers. It's verified. I'm working 7 jobs, all in media. I can't even get a response from Twitter support. It's amazing. It is. There's an account that Jake Asman put me onto that alerts. It's a bot account that gets alerted and then tweets out whenever somebody gets verified. And to see the constant amount of people that are routinely getting verified is just mind-boggling. So people are just done with the Mr. Peanut ad campaigns. Is that what I'm getting? Is that this is all about trying to make Mr. Peanut relevant again following the Super Bowl ad? Because it's been the same account this whole time, right?
Yeah, the account is still at Mr. Peanut.
Right, that's what I'm seeing. My goodness. That's fine. Now, I don't block, I just mute. And I checked, and I've already muted this account probably back in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think that's why the Block Mr. Peanut trend is trending, is because people are officially just done with all of the Peanuts nonsense.
Boy, if the irony here is cancel culture now working to block Mr. Peanut, in fact, weaponizes Mr. Peanut. Unbelievable. And now all of a sudden you have the backlash. Forget the ad campaign. You're going to see politicians sticking up. Mr. Peanut just gets a really bad rap. He's just a really good guy. You're going to see all this stuff come out now. It's going to be complete satire turned into reality. Unbelievable. Florida-Georgia line, Garth Brooks, country. That's at Polish_rifle7 in response to our tweet that got this whole gangsta grass thing going. Hand over mouth mumbling. He also added Justin Timberlake in sync. So Timberlake is pop. You would consider Timberlake pop music. In sync is not even around anymore. So just the remnants of them. I guess the takeaway there for Jay, who tweeted that, would be, you don't normally listen to country, but when you do, you've got some go-tos in Florida, Georgia line, and Garth Brooks. And the shame to admit it, but still it happens, is on the radio, whenever you hear a Justin Timberlake song, you don't turn it off. Okay, there's no this is a judgment-free zone, at least when we solicit. I know we judge a lot in other places and other people, but when we solicit, this is about a judgment-free zone. All right, so coming up, we'll alter fake news as we've had when Sean fills in for Ron Culver. Before we break, I want you to hear, if we can, real quick, Sean, the Trevor Lawrence clip regarding how much he wants to play college football and who he represents as a player. And I just, as you're listening to this, I want you to understand the dangers in jumping to a conclusion that a young man who is expected to go number 1 overall in the NFL draft is truly speaking for the thousands of football players at risk this season.
When you go outside of these walls and you go get food, you go do anything, you're at just as much, if not more, risk. So that's the thing, that we feel safe here. We want to do what we love, have some normalcy. Things haven't been normal in a while, and just being out here practicing. We just love being out here, and it's been great. You know, not that many people usually enjoy fall camp, and I think the whole team has had fun. And I heard Coach Quinn saying, because you don't know, it might be your last day. So we're just soaking it up and hoping to get another day and another day after that.
Look, you've got a long road ahead of you to the NFL that is just 1 year, but it's still going to feel like 10. Trevor Lawrence and anybody else locked in the first round is going to be way more cautious than the average player who knows they're not going to the NFL. At Shander Show, twitch.tv/Shander Show. We'll continue that and listen to Joe Girardi on the value of the year in MLB at 1240 Eastern, all here on the Second Level, Sports Map Radio.
Pushing the odds with Matt Perrault.
Rex Carpenter covers the Washington NFL franchise for the Washington Post. There were such rampant rumors flying around. I'm sure you guys heard about that. How difficult was that? There was just such craziness around what you guys were going to put out.
There were some people in the media, mostly in this market, that kind of fed that early on. And I think that allowed everyone to sort of let their imaginations run wild. That's what upsets me the most. Yeah, I can't say this enough. 50 women had the courage to come forward and talk about their experiences. And I feel like in some ways that has been belittled, just some of the things I've seen on the internet. And that's just disappointing. This is not a nothing story. This is serious. And I realize there's a lot of people who would like the owner con, would like, things to change with the franchise in that regard. But please listen to what these women are saying. It is so important. And I use the word heartbreaking, but that's the word that just kept coming back to my mind. I just can't believe they went through this.
Pushing the Odds with Matt Perrault, weekday afternoons from 1 to 4.
So do you want to play the sound from earlier in the show before we get into the 3 stories?
Less than a month later? No. And then start the season on December 1st? Hell no. No. Hey, LeBron, you just won another championship. What are you going to do? I ain't doing nothing. I got to be back in work in 3 weeks. Right. I can't even go to Disney World. I've been here since freaking July.
You want to come out and break with that?
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern.
Into the Night.
You think LeBron, if he wins the title on October 12th, is going to be ready to go back to training camp less than a month later? No. And then start the season on December 1st? Hell no. No. Hey, LeBron, you just won another championship. What are you going to do? I ain't doing nothing. I got to be back in work in 3 weeks. Right. I can't even go to Disney World. I've been here since freaking July.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern.
Into the Night.
Here with my man Kevin Harlan. So what's your favorite organic thing that you've ever done, whether it's an NBA or an NFL game or any other sport?
Well, they've all been organic. I like to say that whenever they've happened, you're so focused that it does happen organically. Now, listen, wrestling with my kids or playing Nerf football in their rooms, you come up with these crazy sayings like the no regard for human life. That call, that actually I stole from a James Bond movie, Dr. No. So when I heard that line, I would use it when I was playing against our son, Nerf football or Nerf basketball, in his room when he was like a little guy. When he was like 2 and 3 years old, he goes, I have no regard for human life. And I would slam the Nerf ball over his head. So when LeBron did that, for whatever reason in that moment, it just kind of popped into my head and I used the call.
Into the Night with Tony Bruno and Harry Mays. Weeknights at 10 Eastern.
Oh, did you want me to play the?
Yeah, can you come out with it?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I didn't have you queued up.
Oh no, you're good.
Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level on the Sports Map Radio Network.
Presented.
Yeah, I'll just play it straight from.
O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eitan Shander.
They have no implications or indication of what's going to happen, nor implications of what will happen. There is nothing at all.
Oh, there we go. Look at this. Live radio at its finest.
I think there's a ghost in this house, man. Seriously.
That was earlier in the show. Great job, Sean, pulling that. And we might actually have to listen to it again. That's my fault because I asked you to play it coming out of the break, not thinking that there would be music underneath it. I was so locked into the Gangsta Grass that you played earlier. But we might have to play that one more time without the music just to hear how loud. Actually, do me a favor. Can you just kill the music for a sec?
I'll drop the music.
Yeah, and let me hear that. Just because I imagine that it is loud. You heard that right away when basically have the green screen behind me so we can put up different backgrounds and stuff. It's what I use for the other shows, TV hits, whatever. And first time that I've had this thing down in a month that it just decided to unravel. So this was the clip.
They have no implications or indication of what's going to happen, nor implications of what will happen. There is nothing at all. Oh, there we go. Look at this.
That is
live radio at its finest.
Wow, that is loud.
I think there's a ghost in this house, man. Seriously.
You know what's crazy is that this microphone picks up a ton. And it's designed to be, an in-studio mic so that I don't need to have any of the actual studio facilities here, and I can just do this from a basement, literally. All right, you've got 3 stories. They're all real. It's just a matter of if I've heard or seen them before. It's a different way in which you're trying to stump me. You can begin wherever you like.
All right. So I'm sure it might have even been a topic on this segment of the mystery seeds coming from China getting sent to people in Seattle and Portland, and the government told them, do not plant these seeds. We don't know where they're from, or we know they're from China, but we don't know what it's all about. Well, now in Tampa Bay, face masks from China are showing up unsolicited in people's mailboxes, and apparently they are not gifts.
What? This happened to me a couple of weeks ago where I randomly got, I'm trying to explain what it would be. It's kind of like that same material and same thing you would have to hold firewood. If you went out to chop firewood and then put it in one of these like felt things.
Oh, okay. Like the string.
Yeah, they're not bags per se, but it's almost like a felt thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I randomly got a box sent to me with 6 of those in there, all bagged from China. There was no English on the return address, just randomly. I cracked open the box, saw what it was, and immediately threw it out of the dump. What the hell is that? I've not heard that one by all.
That's really weird.
That's great.
I think your story is just as weird because at least.
Well, yeah, but this is the same thing. People just randomly sending us stuff from China.
Yeah. I don't know. Does Chinese Amazon have a...
Oh, you think maybe somebody had a place here and also a place in Beijing and Amazon messed up the delivery?
I don't know. I have no idea what's going on. I just want to stay out of China altogether.
Fair enough. What else?
Me and the NBA.
Yes.
In related face mask news, I guess, pretty unrelated actually, but Wyvel, I think, jewelry in Israel is making a $1.5 million face mask complete with 18-karat white gold and 3,600 diamonds to help businessmen fight COVID-19.
So who's going to be the first celebrity in this country to buy and own and rock that? It's not a ton. $1.5 million for people whose net worth is somewhere in the triple digits and millions. Is it going to be a Jenner, Kardashian?
I was going to say, I think we have to take the Kardashians off the board.
Is that an easy one right there?
I feel like just any, 7 of them could pop up in one of these.
Oh, this is amazing. This story. All right, real quick, why don't you bring the other story up? Because I want to come back to this after we hear from Joe Girardi.
Okay, so third story. Wild beavers in England win the right to remain in their homes in Otter River.
Huh. Was there some legal case going on
Yes,
here?
I believe they were allowed to be hunted. They're considered a invasive to that habitat, but now Otter River can now have beavers in it.
Are there a lot of otters in there too?
I'd imagine that's how it got its name.
Interesting. No idea what's going on, man. I imagine people were fighting for the right for them to be in there. I can't imagine that the beavers walk into any courthouse.
The beaver lobby?
Yeah, I imagine that doesn't exist. Unbelievable. All right, coming up next, Joe Girardi, the play of the year in baseball, and more on that mask.
Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage. Making the right financial.
So no McMullen?
More important.
No.
When you turn to
sorry,
Rocket Mortgage, we can help guide you to those right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
All right. Sorry.
Mortgage rates are near historic lows, so now is a great time to call 8338-ROCKET. And if you need some extra money, a cash-out refinance could give you that financial boost you're looking for. Call today at 8338-ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com to learn more.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. And MLS number 3030.
At Fidelity, we understand priorities can change. So when you partner with a dedicated advisor from Fidelity Wealth Management, they will help you develop a personalized wealth strategy, one that can be flexible enough to evolve as your needs change. Plus, they can offer investing strategies designed to reduce the impact of taxes, all while making sure you understand what you're paying and why. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC.
Third floor study hall. First floor homeroom. My dining room table.
Wherever school happens for you this year, Staples has everything from notebooks to sanitizer, laptops to face masks. Now at Staples, get 20% off your in-store purchase of hand sanitizer, masks, and other PPE products. Go to staples.com/20off PPE.
Also, Ron wanted me to remind you to try to get out around 52 this segment,
right?
Because we have the call.
Yep.
Or for details, curbside available in most stores.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal. We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who will get the IRS off your back.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
Call Tax Solutions now. Time is running out. Call 800-296-9744. 800-296-9744. 800-296-9744. 800-296-9744.
From muscle pain, body aches to strains, Blue Emu Maximum Arthritis. It works fast and you won't stink. Its unique formula with emu oil penetrates deep to relieve arthritis pain, sore muscles, joints, and more. Blue Emu Maximum Arthritis. It works fast and you won't stink. Find Blue Emu at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, and other chains, or visit blue-emu.com.
You're listening to The Second Level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Home loans that fit your life. Rocket can.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, with way more than the scores, here's Eitan Shander.
So there is a lot of value right now that you're going to have to be patient at times for, but you might as well take advantage of it if you are live betting or simply just betting anything Major League Baseball related. The Philadelphia Phillies have one of the worst assembled and now executed bullpens in the history this early in baseball. Now, granted, they're not going to have an opportunity, thank God, here in Philly, I can speak for the city, but they're not going to have an opportunity to play out of it, meaning, well, it's a small sample size, and you have to wait and see after 100 games how bad this thing really is. Aaron Nola last night was through 6 and approaching 90-plus pitches, was yanked by Joe Girardi. And immediately what happened was the Braves got an opportunity to come back into a game in which they trailed by 12 runs. 12 runs, and still it came down to the final batter. This is the norm. This is a baseball team that I have watched decimate their bullpen, not do anything to address it, and actually put together a decent starting staff this year, at least for the first 3, even dare I say 4 guys, if you can get anything out of Jake Arrieta. But that's not the point in all of this. The point is now to make something, take some sort of financial advantage of the woes of the Philadelphia Phillies bullpen. And it's not going to stop. This is not going to be something where they will magically just start closing out games and shutting down teams. Last night is a perfect representation of how bad the Philadelphia Phillies bullpen is when you just go out and watch them. A 13-8 final after hitting 5 home runs, watching Aaron Nola duel out against anybody that came up to the plate, and then having to turn to your bullpen and seeing the Braves not even slowly, but rapidly hanging 7 in the top of the 9th. 7 in the top of the 9th. Aaron Nola yanked after he threw 8 one-run innings, Kang 10, but he was up to 90 pitches. So I want you to understand, as bad as it may look, and I was doing this on my other show where we talk everything live as we're on 6 to 8 Eastern, so we have a ton of live action now, thank goodness, to discuss and react to. But last night, I'm watching this thing, and I got burned on the Braves, took them right away in the money line, burned on that, and knew that it was just an opportunity here to double and then triple down on these live run lines. 3-0. Next thing you know, it's 11-1. 10-1 after 2. So somewhere in that bottom of the second inning, the run line moved to 5.5. And you thought, that's fine with me. The Phillies can pour on as many runs as they want. I'll take the Braves at 5.5. Took them in the bottom of the second. Then it moves. And now you're sitting at 10-1 in the third inning. And you've got a 9.5 run line now for the Braves. 9.5. I mean, I get it. It's 10-1. It was 12-1 at one point after 4. But before that even hit in the third inning, you had that 9.5, depending on where you got it. And you can't now look at this team. I guarantee you it's going to happen again tonight if they even get the lead against the Orioles. But this is what's going to happen way more often than not this season, is you're going to see this Philadelphia Phillies team get a lead on somebody and slowly, depending on how fast they have to yank their starting pitcher to painfully, depending on how long that guy is left in, watch that lead evaporate. Then it's now 13-1 following the 5th inning, and the run line jumps up to 12. Right there, you know, if nobody scores at all, you'll at least get a pushback, but you know somebody's going to score. 13-1 after 5. And in one inning, one small, short little top half of the inning, all of that damage was done by an ill-prepared bullpen, one that couldn't pitch its way out of anything, any scenario, any analogy, wet paper bag, or whatever else you want to throw out there. This is an automatic right now. Just wait. And if you're smart enough, you can follow it throughout. Now, I don't expect you to watch every single pitch and every single inning of the Phillies. I would not ask that upon anybody. But keep an eye. This is one of those things that will hit way more often than not. They just don't have any bodies. They don't have any arms. They don't have any ability to close out a game. And if you hear Joe Girardi, we'll listen to Joe Girardi now, explain what happened last night. He's not going to change his approach either.
Aaron did not want to come out, but sometimes I feel that it's my job to protect players from themselves, right? And I feel bad pulling him, and I told him, and I understand if he's upset with me, I'm okay with that. But the prize is not in the month of August, and we need him to be healthy, and we don't need him to get fatigued. He'll come back on normal rest again.
Yeah, right. Let me tell you this. He's going to do it again. He's going to pull Zach Wheeler tonight with a 4 or 5 run lead after 6. He's going to pull Jake Arrieta. He's going to pull his starting pitchers. Hopefully, they can at least get something. But even then, even at 8 runs or 9 runs or 10 runs, it's not safe. It's just not safe. Man, I've never seen anything like this. This is so bad across the board with a bullpen that it's pretty much a guaranteed lock every single time you want to throw this out. Every single time. And you might as well take advantage of it when the Phillies are up. You might as well take advantage of it when they're pouring it on. If you see a situation tonight, it's a 7:05 Eastern start. Just wait. Just give it a couple of innings. See where you are after 3. Phillies up 4-1 after 3. Phillies up 5-2, 6-1 after 3. Phillies up 7-1 after 3. Take the Orioles. Take whoever they're playing. Again, you have to be patient. Riding that out. Not a lot of people would get that if you haven't seen this team play day in and day out, that at 12 runs, your 5.5 is still safe. Down 12, your plus 5.5 on the Braves run line is still safe because anything is going to happen. Not can happen, but will happen when you turn to the pen. It is hilarious to me to see this. Absolutely hilarious. Now, one of the stories Sean brought up in the previous segment had to do with this $1.5 million mask. And refresh us here if you can, Sean. The mask is solid gold with diamonds on it.
Yes, complete with 18 karat white gold and 3,600 diamonds.
3,600 diamonds. So let's look at this. Who would be the most go-to celebrity to be the first seen in this? And part of it is just being the first seen in it, right?
Yes.
It's not just who would own it and rock it. It would be to be able to go out there and show the world what you own.
Yeah, and I mentioned in last segment, but I still think that the Jenner Kardashians should be taken off the board because they are the perfect combination of opulent wealth and also the availability and you have to be a little bit tone insensitive.
Yeah, I would think so.
To this thing that's supposed to, be saving lives, and you're dropping $1.5 million.
What about somebody in a video? Could you see Beyonce wearing it in a music video? Could you see somebody,
maybe
could you see Kanye wearing it? I
Well,
could see Kanye wearing it.
Yeah, anything's on the board with Kanye.
That's what I mean, though. Now, because you're right. Well, hold on a second. Does Kanye count in that group of Kardashian Jenners, or is he his own man?
He's his own man.
Okay.
I'll give it to him.
Okay.
But I also think maybe not Beyonce, but maybe Rihanna if there's new music coming, because Beyonce just dropped a project.
Yes, you did. That's right.
So maybe it's Rihanna.
Okay. How about I think Rihanna and Kanye are two really good ones. Taylor Swift, although she just came out with something, didn't she?
Yes.
She just dropped a new
relatively
song or album.
recently. Yeah.
But I could see her rocking that mask. Is there anybody, especially if there's like a political thing or something behind it, then you could always push that in your video. What about an athlete? Now, who would be the most tone, and I like your term, insensitive athlete to come out in their virtual press conference? And I don't care if the sport is in play right now or not, if you want to use somebody in the NFL, but who would be that athlete that comes out in this solid gold 3,600 diamonds plastered across it?
I think I have the answer, the right answer.
Okay, well, I would love to hear this.
Odell Beckham Jr.
I love it.
He wore a watch, a Richard Mille watch on the field last season. That happened.
That's right.
He might wear it during a game. He might wear it to practice.
No, you're right. I think that is actually an amazing answer. Wow. I didn't even have him on my radar.
Yeah, I wanted you to guess so we could keep the game going a little bit longer. But
well, what about Russell Westbrook?
Yeah, Russ is a good one.
I'm trying to think of somebody who has their own style and brand in clothing. But I don't necessarily. Russ is not tone insensitive by any means.
Yeah.
He does a ton.
Maybe Cam.
Yeah, Cam
Newton. But it's actually his style's a little bit different than this.
Although I will say I wouldn't put it past Cam Newton by any means. Is there a hockey player? Is there an obvious hockey player that we're missing here? What about Conor McGregor? Now he's not going to fight this year.
Yeah, but McGregor would be a good one.
Right?
Any of these big time fighters. I could
definitely see McGregor. Like yes, he's a good one.
Although he might not have the money to burn.
Well, that's the thing, right? You need some sort of purse here. But couldn't you see, similar to Deontay Wilder coming out in that suit of armor?
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't you see Conor McGregor coming out to the ring with that mask and some accompanying outfit with it?
Gotta wrap up.
That would be insane. It's unfortunate because he's not going to fight. It's not like the NFL that's going to return, but he would be it. All right, at Shander Show, twitch.tv/Shander Show. We'll wrap the hour next, tell you about this great product from Boomer Naturals here on Sports Map Radio.
If there's 6 games a day of NHL Stanley Cup playoffs,
I got it.
Hold on 1 second. Mavi, can you get my divorce lawyer on the phone, please? Thank you. We're gonna get a divorce because I'm gonna watch 6 hockey games a day, and I'm not even gonna bathe.
Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern.
Wake up call. Here was the NBA sitting in a meeting, and I swear they were sitting in a meeting going, okay, how many teams should we invite? Just the 8 teams that are in each conference? No. Let's have a little bit of action and have them compete for some playoff spots. How far do you want to go down? Well, as far as the Pelicans. They tell the Pelicans, we've created this thing for you. It's not for the Lakers. It's not for the Clippers or the Celtics or Giannis and the Bucks. It's for you. Please play hard, and you can get into the playoff, and we can maximize the Zionist of the Zion. This is awful. If I'm Adam Silver, I take the Pelicans and I break them up. Everybody now has a chance to go somewhere else. This team needs to be disbanded. Everything I tried to do, everything in the world I tried to do to help you, to make this possible for you, and you're sitting this kid out when it matters the most? Out of your mind?
Wake Up Call with Tony B and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
Wake up call. Former heavyweight champion Evander Holyfield joining us here on Wake Up Call. Champ, real quick, chance of getting into the ring. Give us a little insight. Chance of getting back in the ring for you on a 1 to 10 scale.
Well, I'm sure I would say 9.5, but 9.
All right. I'm looking forward to it. All right. Good stuff.
Wake Up Call with Tony B and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9 Eastern.
The second level.
Let's go!
You don't say one of the best. When you talk about the Hall of Famer Ronnie Lott, you say the best. Do you think if this were happening back in 84, 85, would you opt out or would you play?
There are certain things that come with your responsibilities. And there are certain things that you have to be able to understand. And when you think about those responsibilities, you're hoping that everybody abides by those responsibilities. The 49ers, and the reason I can only speak about that is that given the characteristics of the group and given the characteristics of the people and understanding the consequences, that's what allowed that team at that time to be able to function and do things that maybe other teams didn't do.
The Second Level with Eitan Shander, weekdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern.
Dealing with the root of the issues. It's The Second Level on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
Well, it is a pleasure, as we've been telling you throughout the day, throughout the week. For the past couple of weeks, you hear us talk about it live. You hear the recorded spots playing throughout the network on the importance of masking up, specifically with Boomer Naturals. And we welcome back Suzanne Hobbs with Boomer Naturals to the program. Hope all is well with you, Suzanne. Thanks again for the time. And it's just an amazing opportunity to talk with you about what you all are doing with Boomer Naturals, the 3-layer mask. And I know one thing that probably wasn't talked about a lot during the middle of the summer, but now as school is ramping up, is how comfortable and applicable these masks are for teens and children, not just adults like you and I.
Great point. Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of kids, my daughter just started school yesterday, and you want to have a mask that fits the smaller faces. And that's what we offer, is 2 different sizes for kids. And you need to make sure that they're protected and there's no openings and gaps and they don't fall down off their nose and that type of thing. And that's why we have 2 different sizes.
What's been some of the most successful stories that you've seen just from people who either were unsure about it for whatever reason of wearing a mask, to people who have upgraded their own masks from whatever they were wearing to now a Boomer Naturals?
Yeah, it has actually been really fun to see the evolvement since about March of, even our masks, how we have evolved them. We now offer neck gaiters that are 2-layer of nano silver. We now have adjustable ear loops, adjustable nose bridge. We are trying to help make sure that everybody has what they need, and that it's, we're just trying to do our best to make sure that everybody feels as safe and comfortable as they can. And but it's been great to see the feedback from customers who say they've finally found the face mask that they want to wear. They finally feel that they found something breathable and comfortable, and they're telling their friends and their neighbors, and they're ordering more than 1 or 2 times. So it's great that we are becoming the face mask for Americans.
It's so key, and we remind everybody, boomernaturals.com or promo code SPORTS. You can save 20%, boomernaturals.com. But that's such a key element to this, because clearly there has been a problem overall with not enough people wearing masks and practicing the necessary social distancing, et cetera. But to walk that line that nobody else seems to want to walk, which is, hey, we're providing something of value that can protect you, but also something that's comfortable, is such a key element, I would imagine, in your success.
Absolutely, yes. And that's so important, is that, I don't even love wearing a face mask when I go to the grocery store or go out. Nobody does, but you want one that, I don't know about the looking good, but, why not wear something that at least you can choose fun, different patterns and things. But it's all about making sure that you are protected. We are all trying to stop the spread of disease right now. And it's those respiratory droplets that are out in the air. If someone coughs or sneezes or you're close to someone, that's what that nano silver in our face mask does. And that's what makes it stand out, is nano silver is going to help kill and stop those tiny drops and particles. And so in the 3 layers, to have nano silver in all
10 seconds.
key.
Thanks so much, Suzanne. We appreciate it. Boomernaturals.com is the site. Promo code SPORTS. Save 20%. That's Suzanne Hobbs. We'll chat soon. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yep, fun show.
You got it, brother. Thank you. Appreciate it. I got a bolt, but great stuff today. Are you back to
We're listening.